Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please come on, like and subscribe, because what we've got here is a great channel, haven't we, folks? Yeah, but I need people to join and like and subscribe. Yes, I'm going to talk today about Robert Genrich, MP, the Shadow Justice Minister, member of the Conservative Party, who has been speaking out on various platforms today, including BBC's Radio 4 Today programme at approximately 8 a.m. this morning, 8:05, something like that, in which he was discussing the problem with the grooming gangs in Britain, and he's calling for a mandatory full life term of imprisonment for all individuals who are found guilty by the courts of operating as grooming gangs, abusing, raping, torturing, inflicting pain, raping young girls as young as 11. And this has been taking place in, they reckon, over 50 towns and cities across Great Britain. I previously discussed it in a broadcast, my last broadcast, and the problem that we had was we had a big inquiry into this. It was chaired by Professor Alexis J, and she found that there were grooming gangs. She only investigated 6 towns, I believe, 6 cities. But she found that indeed there were, and made various recommendations. One of the recommendations that the J report recommended was that anybody in a position of authority who fails to report the commission of crimes under the grooming of children genre, that kind of thing, is going to be found guilty of an offence of neglect of duty in a public office. You may think that this is the way forward. It is, yeah. Well, the problem that you've got is that when you do report these matters, the weight of the system falls upon you. I reported numerous offences similar to that whilst I was a prison officer. Chaplain, members of the clergy abusing inmates, senior prison officers interfering with inmates in the cells, governors actually taking Category A prisoners into their offices and indulging themselves in sexual activities. And when I went to see the chief officer and reported these things, his words to me were, I recall them very well, he said to me, "Who has given you authority to investigate senior members of this prison staff?" So I had a warrant card. I showed him my warrant card, and on it said, I read it to him. I said, "It says here, whilst acting as a prison officer, I have all the powers of a police constable." So I said, "That's my authority." I said, "No, that's my duty. I'm doing my duty. I'm reporting this. Are you going to do your duty?" Well, that didn't go very well. Banging on the counter, banging on his desk, shouting at me, "Get out of my office." Next thing, of course, as I've previously outlined in my book, the police were called in to investigate me. And as luck would have it, they couldn't find anything, but there wasn't anything to find. All that they found was that the inmates were saying, well, it just seems to be a straightforward doing his job, that was what I was doing. But it didn't end there. A gang of louts directly related to very senior members of the staff came and attacked me, physically attacked me. And I dealt with them as one would, and subsequently was charged by the police with actual bodily harm. I wasn't attacking anybody, I was defending myself. You get 3 6-foot-plus blokes coming to you in a bar with glasses in their hands, saying, "We're going to kill you, Sutton, we're going to kill you." What do you do? I mean, they've already stated their objective. I mean, all right, when they arrived at the spot, they very quickly found themselves in the back of an ambulance. It could be argued that perhaps I did use too much force. But what is too much force? How do you know until you've actually dealt with the problem? Now, that's what happens when you actually do report it. And the Alexis J report said that anybody in public office who fails to report the commission of crimes against children is guilty of an offence. So I did my duty, but the system is protecting the people in the system that are actually committing these offences. And it's happening in the prisons. It'll be happening in the prisons today. I mean, we've only got to look at HMP Berwyn. 34 members of the staff, female members of the staff, you know, the hostess brigade, arrested, charged, and many of them imprisoned for inappropriate behaviour in public office. Now, I'm going to put a link down below to an interview with Robert Genrich, who seems to me to have the same ideas that I expounded in my previous broadcast, in which I stated that I believe that people coming into this country from another culture, from another ethnic background, should really understand the general normal run of society. But the problem is, of course, they don't. It's an alien culture. So they're coming in here with what to me, and indeed in the words of Robert Genrich, this is a kind of medieval outlook, in that they view these young girls, as young as 11 or 12, view them as being white trash, because they are not covering their hair, they're not covering their arms and not covering their legs, and therefore they are, in the eyes of certain ethnic minority groups from medieval cultures, they're fair game. That's what's happening today in our society. Of course, we've now got Elon Musk opening his billionaire American mouth, spouting off about our politics, which he could keep his snot box right out of it, if you ask me. And it's a difficulty that we've got to deal with. But branding people like Robert Genrich and Tommy Robinson, who has been saying the same things, as being racist, speaking out about this problem that is eating our society alive. I mean, if it was your granddaughter or daughter that was snatched by these gangs, they're snatching these children, these vulnerable children, and taking them into their houses, torturing them, abusing them, plying them with alcohol and drugs, and forcing them into prostitution. I agree that it shouldn't be a witch hunt. It definitely shouldn't. But there has to be strict enforcement of the law, which it has not been happening. Indeed, there are arguments that the Crown Prosecution Service, under the directorship of Sir Keir Starmer, issued notification to all police forces to cease and desist investigating these grooming gangs. On what authority did they do that? And if I had been the Chief Constable, I would have called a meeting, a press meeting, got the notification from the Crown Prosecution Service, read it to them, and ripped it up and said, not only are we not going to follow those instructions, we are going to proceed with all due alacrity. Tales from the Jails. The song dinger, folks. You've heard it and you've asked for it. If you're hanging around now and you enjoy this kind of stuff, then we'll meet again on the Sick Parade. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And now I'm going to sing you a song. This is hardly singing, I know, but I'm going to murder it. This is an Elvis Presley song. Are You Lonesome Tonight? Are you sitting comfortably? Then I shall begin. And don't forget to have a look at the link down below to the Robert Genrich interview. Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Does your memory stray to a bright summer day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart? Do the chairs in your parlor seem empty and bare? Do you gaze at your doorstep and picture me there? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? You know, I wonder if you're lonesome tonight. Oh, all the world's a stage, and fate had me playing in love with you as my sweetheart. Act 1 was where we met. I loved you at first glance. You read your lines so cleverly and never missed a cue. Then came Act 2. You seemed to change. You acted strange, and why, I've never known. Honey, you lied when you said you loved me, and I had no cause to doubt you. But I'd rather go on hearing your lies than to go on living without you. Now the stage is bare, and I'm standing there with emptiness all around. And if you won't come back to me, they can bring the curtain down. Are you lonesome tonight, folks? And if you enjoyed that, then you probably will be. I'll see you on the sick parade tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Tales from the jails.